The arrival. In the quiet early hours of a typical Tuesday morning, the world was unaware that its fate was about to change forever. In the vast emptiness of space, sleek silver vessels moved with an elegance that belied their deadly purpose. Aboard one of these ships, Commander Zoria surveyed the Earth through a reinforced viewport. Her emerald skin shimmered under the soft glow of the control panels, and her golden eyes narrowed as she observed the blue planet below, teeming with life and potential. "Prepare for descent," Zoria ordered, her voice a blend of authority and excitement. Her crew, a hand-picked squad of formidable Amazonian warriors, responded with a chorus of affirmatives. They had traveled light years from their home world, the warlike planet of Vespera, with a singular goal: to conquer Earth and establish their dominion over the primitive humans. As they plunged through the atmosphere, a wave of anticipation rippled through the crew. Each warrior was a master of combat, trained to subdue and conquer. Yet there was a palpable thrill in the air. This was not just another mission. It was the beginning of something extraordinary. Zoria had promised her warriors glory, honor, and the chance to rule over a new world, but she secretly sought something more profound, a deeper understanding of what made humanity tick. Below them, the sprawling city of New Haven was waking up. Streets buzzed with activity, cars honked, and people rushed about, completely oblivious to the impending invasion. Zoria's ship began its final approach, and with a graceful maneuver, it landed softly in a deserted park, far from the watchful eyes of the city's inhabitants. The hatch opened with a hiss, and a rush of cool air enveloped the crew as they stepped onto the ground. Zoria surveyed her surroundings, her sharp senses picking up every detail: the scent of grass and flowers, the distant sounds of urban life, and the vibrant colors that painted the landscape. It was beautiful, yet so vastly different from Vespera's harsh terrain. "Remember your training," Zoria reminded her team as they gathered around her. "We will move swiftly. The goal is to take control of the government facilities and incapacitate any resistance. The humans will either submit to us or be crushed under our might." Her words were met with eager nods, the fire of battle igniting in her warriors' eyes. Meanwhile, on the other side of New Haven, a man named Jake was just starting his day. A typical 30-something office worker, Jake's mornings revolved around the mundane routine of coffee and catching up on the latest news. As he flipped through his phone, he caught a glimpse of the weather report, but an unusual headline caught his eye. "Mysterious lights over New Haven. Government investigating." Jake scoffed, shaking his head. "Probably just some drone show or a publicity stunt," he muttered, pouring himself a cup of coffee. He had no idea that the lights were merely a distraction, a signal that something extraordinary was about to unfold. As he stepped outside, the sun hit his face, and he took a deep breath, savoring the fresh air. The world seemed normal, yet something felt off. The birds had suddenly gone silent, and an uneasy feeling settled in his stomach. He brushed it aside, focusing instead on his busy day ahead. Little did he know that the very fate of humanity rested on a precipice, balanced by the decisions of an alien commander and his own choices. Back in the park, Zoria and her team were ready. The commander activated a holographic map that illuminated the area around them. "We'll split into teams," she instructed. "Team A will head toward the nearest government building, while Team B will secure the perimeter and ensure no humans escape. We'll make our presence known." As the Amazonian warriors moved out, Zoria felt a strange mixture of excitement and anxiety. The thought of conquering Earth was exhilarating, but a part of her questioned the necessity of force. They could have negotiated, perhaps learned from these beings instead of subjugating them. Yet, the orders were clear: show no mercy. The first skirmish began when they encountered a group of parkgoers who had unwittingly stumbled into their path. Startled screams filled the air as people scattered in panic, but Zoria raised her hand, signaling her warriors to stand down. "Wait," she commanded, her curiosity piqued. Zoria stepped forward, and the humans halted, frozen in fear. "We mean you no harm," she announced, her voice firm yet surprisingly gentle. "We are explorers seeking knowledge. Your world fascinates us." One brave soul, a woman with wild curly hair and fierce blue eyes, stepped forward. "Explorers? You're not here to invade." Zarya shook her head. "No, not if we can avoid it. But we seek understanding, not just conquest. Tell us about your world." For a moment, the tension hung in the air. The woman's expression shifted from fear to curiosity. "I'm Sarah. If you're really here to learn, we can talk. But you need to understand, we're not just going to bow down to you." Zarya's heart raced at the boldness of this human. "I wouldn't expect you to. But I need to know if we can coexist, if we can share knowledge." As the conversation began, Zarya felt something shift within her, a spark of hope. Perhaps this mission could lead to more than just dominance. Perhaps it could be the start of a unique partnership between their worlds, a chance to exchange ideas and culture rather than weapons and violence. Meanwhile, Jake had decided to take a detour through the park on his way to work. He was drawn by the commotion, the thrumming energy of the crowd that had gathered. As he approached, he could see a group of tall, striking figures standing confidently among the terrified humans. His heart raced as he recognized them as aliens, tall, beautiful, with skin of vivid colors, just like in the movies. "What the heck?" Jake breathed, unable to tear his gaze away from the spectacle. He watched as Zarya spoke to Sarah, her voice calm and commanding. Jake felt an inexplicable connection to the moment unfolding before him. This was real, and he was witnessing history. As the crowd murmured around him, fear began to give way to fascination. If these beings truly wanted to learn, could they find common ground? Jake's mind raced with possibilities, and he took a step forward, joining the growing group of onlookers. Zarya's gaze caught his as he approached, and a flicker of recognition passed between them. In that instant, Jake knew he had to be part of this. "I'm Jake," he said, his voice steady despite the chaos surrounding them. "Maybe I can help. Humans are complicated, but also curious. If you want to understand us, we're willing to talk." Zarya regarded him with interest, her golden eyes shining with a mix of hope and skepticism. "You would speak for your people?" "Yes," Jake replied, surprising even himself with his confidence. "Let's find a way to communicate and learn from each other instead of fighting. We can show you our world, and maybe you can share yours." As the crowd watched, Zarya's expression softened. Perhaps this was the moment she had hoped for, an opportunity to bridge the gap between their worlds. With a nod of agreement, she stepped forward. "Very well, Jake of Earth. Let us begin our journey together. But know this, if your people choose hostility, we will not hesitate to defend ourselves." The tension between the two races hung in the air, a delicate balance teetering between fear and hope. But for the first time since their arrival, Zarya felt a sense of possibility. Perhaps conquering Earth was not the only option. Perhaps understanding was the first step toward a new future. As they stood in the park, surrounded by the remnants of panic and the dawn of a new alliance, the air crackled with energy. This was only the beginning of an adventure that would challenge their perceptions, fuel their creativity, and reshape the fate of both worlds forever. A new alliance. The sun hung high over New Haven as the first tentative steps toward understanding began. Zarya, commander of the Vesperan Armada, found herself standing among a crowd of anxious humans, their expressions a mix of fear and intrigue. The promise of cooperation floated in the air like a shimmering haze, but the stakes were high. How could two very different species navigate the complexities of their worlds and forge a meaningful alliance? As the crowd began to settle, Zarya felt a surge of determination. "I am Zarya," she declared, her voice resonating through the park. "We come in peace, seeking knowledge about your people and your planet. We wish to learn, not conquer." Jake stepped forward, feeling the weight of the moment. "I think we can help with that," he said, glancing around at the humans who had gathered. "We have so much to share about our culture, our technology, and even our challenges. but trust is key. How can we be sure that you genuinely seek cooperation? Zarya nodded, understanding the importance of Jake's words. Trust is earned, not given. Let us begin with a dialogue. We will share our knowledge, and you shall share yours. Together, we can explore the wonders of our worlds. Sarah, the bold woman who had first stepped forward, raised her hand. What about your mission? You mentioned something about conquering. How do we know you won't change your mind? Zarya met Sarah's gaze, her expression firm. We could have chosen to subdue you through force, yet here I stand, offering dialogue instead. If we can find common ground, perhaps this mission can evolve into something greater than conquest. With the initial barriers slowly crumbling, the crowd began to murmur, and a sense of cautious optimism took root. Zarya gestured for her warriors to lower their weapons, a symbolic act of goodwill that surprised her crew. This was a bold step, but it was necessary. Trust was the bridge that would connect their two worlds. Jake, sensing the moment of opportunity, turned to the crowd. How about we start with something simple? Let's share a meal. Food is a universal language, and it can help break down barriers. Zarya raised an eyebrow, intrigued. A meal? You believe this will help? Absolutely, Jake replied enthusiastically. Let's introduce you to some of Earth's culinary delights. You can experience our culture through our food. Zarya considered this. The prospect of tasting Earth's cuisine was both exciting and daunting. Very well, lead the way, Jake of Earth. As they began to walk toward the heart of the city, Zarya felt a growing sense of camaraderie with Jake. He was passionate and earnest, and the way he engaged with the crowd, explaining their intentions and allaying fears, impressed her. She could see why he had stepped forward. He had a natural charisma that drew people in. As they navigated through the bustling streets, Zarya marveled at the sights and sounds. The vibrant colors of storefronts, the tantalizing aromas wafting from food stalls, and the laughter of children playing nearby painted a picture of life on Earth that was both beautiful and chaotic. This was a world of creativity and resilience, traits she admired. Eventually, they reached a small cafe known for its famous pizza. The smell of baking bread and melting cheese enveloped them as they entered. Zarya's stomach rumbled audibly, a sound that made her blush, surprising herself with the embarrassment. Jake chuckled. I guess our food is a little more enticing than you expected. Zarya smirked, but her eyes sparkled with excitement. I am eager to try this. Pizza. As they sat down, Jake began to explain the various toppings and styles of pizza. This one is a classic margherita, he said, pointing to a large, cheese-covered pie adorned with fresh basil. It's simple but delicious. You'll love it. Zarya watched intently as Jake placed a slice on his plate, its gooey cheese stretching with every movement. You have to fold it. It's part of the experience, he instructed, demonstrating the perfect way to eat pizza. Tentatively, Zarya took her slice, mirroring his actions. With a bit of hesitation, she bit into it. The explosion of flavors was astonishing. The crust was crispy yet chewy, the cheese rich and creamy, and the tangy tomato sauce was unlike anything she had tasted before. This is extraordinary, she exclaimed, her eyes widening in delight. How can you have created something so perfect? Jake laughed, enjoying her enthusiasm. That's just the beginning. There's a whole world of food to explore. We have tacos, sushi, ice cream, you name it. Each dish tells a story about our culture. As they continued to share the meal, more humans gathered, curiosity piqued by the sight of an alien enjoying pizza. The initial apprehension began to fade as laughter filled the air, and Zarya found herself engaging with them, asking questions about their lives and experiences. Tell me about your families, Zarya prompted one woman, her eyes sparkling with genuine interest. The woman smiled, her fear replaced by a desire to share. I have 2 kids. They love pizza too, but they can never agree on toppings. It's a battle every Friday night. Zarya found herself chuckling, imagining the chaos of such a scenario. We have similar family dynamics on Vespera, though our customs may differ. As the meal progressed, the conversation flowed freely. Zoria shared stories of her home world, explaining their warrior culture and the significance of honor and strength. The humans listened, captivated by her tales of bravery and the complex politics of her people. In return, Jake and Sarah spoke of Earth's struggles, climate change, social issues, and the ongoing fight for equality. They explained how humans were resilient, constantly seeking solutions to their problems despite the odds. "This is a strength of your species," Zoria remarked, impressed. "You adapt and overcome. On Vespera, we are taught to conquer, but perhaps there is strength in collaboration as well." The realization hit her like a bolt of lightning. Perhaps their mission could pivot from one of dominance to a partnership, a chance for both species to learn from each other. The possibilities began to dance in her mind, and she felt a flicker of hope ignite within her. As they wrapped up their meal, the cafe was filled with laughter and the clinking of plates. Zoria felt a warmth in her heart that she hadn't expected. This day was turning into something beautiful, an unexpected connection with beings she had once viewed as lesser. "Zoria, we should do this more often," Jake suggested, a hopeful smile on his face. "Let's continue to explore each other's cultures. We can learn so much from one another." "I agree," Zoria replied, her voice filled with conviction. "Let us begin to bridge the gap between our worlds. Together, we can create a future where knowledge and understanding prevail over war and conquest." The group nodded in agreement, a palpable sense of unity forming among them. They stood together in that cafe, humans and aliens alike, realizing that they were at the dawn of a new era. It was a fragile alliance, but one built on mutual respect and curiosity, a chance to rewrite their destinies together. As they exited the cafe, the world outside felt different. The air buzzed with potential, and Zoria was filled with a sense of purpose. Perhaps they could avoid the conflict she had initially been tasked with. Perhaps they could find a way to coexist, not just as conquerors and conquered, but as partners. The sun was beginning to set, casting a warm glow over New Haven. Zoria looked up at the sky, feeling a profound sense of belonging. This planet, with all its quirks and flaws, was beginning to feel like home. And with Jake and Sarah by her side, she felt emboldened to face whatever challenges lay ahead. "Together, we shall embark on an extraordinary journey," she declared, her voice resonating with determination. "Let us explore this world and discover the potential that lies within both our species." And with that, the unlikely trio set off into the vibrant streets of New Haven, ready to weave their stories together, forging a path that would lead to new adventures and endless possibilities. They were no longer just an alien commander and a few humans. They were pioneers, crafting a legacy of cooperation and understanding that would transcend the stars. Cultural exchange. The vibrant streets of New Haven thrummed with energy as Zoria, Jake, and Sarah strolled side by side, a peculiar yet inspiring trio navigating the complexities of a burgeoning alliance. Each step they took resonated with the excitement of possibility, and the buzz of anticipation crackled in the air. The sun dipped lower, casting golden rays that illuminated the city and reflected off the gleaming silver of Zoria's skin. "Where to next?" Jake asked, his enthusiasm infectious. "There's a whole world of experiences waiting for you, Zoria. What piques your interest?" Zoria paused, considering the question. "I wish to understand the art of your people. We have art on Vespera, but it is often more functional than expressive. I want to know how your creativity manifests." "Art, you've come to the right place," Jake exclaimed, his eyes lighting up. "There's a fantastic gallery just around the corner that showcases local artists. It's a mix of traditional and modern art, and it reflects the diverse voices of our community." Sarah nodded in agreement, her own excitement bubbling over. "Yes, and we can discuss the stories behind the pieces. Art often captures the struggles and triumphs of humanity, and I think you'll find it fascinating." With a newfound purpose, they made their way to the gallery, weaving through clusters of people enjoying the evening air. Street performers showcased their talents, filling the atmosphere with music and laughter. Zoria watched in awe as a juggler deftly tossed flaming torches into the air, a spectacle of skill that had her heart racing with both admiration and trepidation. "Such bravery," Zoria remarked, her golden eyes reflecting the flames. "Do humans not fear fire?" Jake chuckled. "Fear, maybe. But it's also about mastery and entertainment. It's a way of pushing boundaries, just like what we're doing now." As they approached the gallery, the building's facade was adorned with vibrant murals depicting scenes of community and resilience. Each brushstroke seemed to tell a story, capturing the essence of the human experience. Zarya felt a pang of excitement in her chest. She was eager to dive deeper into the stories encapsulated within the walls. Inside, the atmosphere shifted to one of quiet contemplation. Soft lighting illuminated the various artworks that adorned the walls, paintings, sculptures, and installations that reflected the diverse spectrum of human emotion and experience. Zoria's senses were overwhelmed at the sheer creativity displayed before her. "This is magnificent," she breathed, her eyes widening as she approached a large canvas. The painting depicted a chaotic urban landscape, the brushstrokes erratic and wild, yet there was a sense of harmony in the chaos. "What does this represent?" "That's a piece by a local artist who wanted to capture the beauty of struggle," Sarah explained, stepping beside her. "It reflects the chaos of city life, but also the resilience of the people living here. Art often serves as a mirror to society, revealing both our flaws and our strengths." Zoria's mind raced, absorbing the implications of Sarah's words. A mirror, to see oneself in the eyes of others. This is powerful. As they moved from piece to piece, Zoria found herself increasingly engaged. She questioned Jake and Sarah about the inspirations behind the art, their personal connections to it, and the societal messages conveyed. Each discussion revealed layers of complexity that deepened her appreciation for humanity. "Here's a different style," Jake said, gesturing to a striking sculpture made of reclaimed materials, a testament to sustainability and innovation. This artist wanted to show that beauty can emerge from discarded things. It's about resilience and finding value in what others deem worthless. Zarya touched the rough edges of the sculpture, her fingers tracing the contours. "It is akin to our warriors. We often repurpose materials to create weapons or tools, but I see now that this can also symbolize transformation and renewal." The conversation flowed effortlessly, a beautiful dance of ideas bridging the gap between their worlds. The more Zoria learned about humanity's struggles and triumphs, the more she realized that their experiences were not so different from her own people's journey on Vespera. Both species sought meaning, connection, and a deeper understanding of their existence. After a few hours of exploring the gallery, they settled in a cozy corner cafe nestled nearby, buzzing with the hum of chatter and clinking cups. "What do you think so far, Zaria?" Jake asked, his eyes sparkling with curiosity. "It is enlightening," Zaria replied, her voice filled with sincerity. "Your art reveals the depths of human emotion, love, pain, joy, and sorrow. It reflects a complexity that is both beautiful and tragic. I can see why you value creativity so deeply." Sarah chimed in. "Art can be a way to process feelings and experiences. It unites us in our shared humanity. Sometimes, it's easier to express ourselves through art than to talk directly about our feelings." Zoria nodded thoughtfully. "On Vespera, our art is often a means of celebration or declaration. We create to honor victories and to commemorate the fallen, but it seems your art serves to explore the spectrum of existence itself." Jake leaned forward, intrigued. "Exactly. And it's not just limited to paintings and sculptures. Music, dance, literature, all of it plays a role in how we connect with each other and understand our world." "Music," Zoria mused, her expression contemplative. "I have heard your melodies in the streets. It resonates with a rhythm unlike anything we have on Vespera. It speaks to the soul." Want to experience it firsthand? Jake offered, a mischievous glint in his eye. There's a concert happening in the park tonight. It features local bands, and I think you'll enjoy the energy. Zoria's heart raced with anticipation. I would be honored to join you. Music seems to hold a different kind of power. It can stir emotions, evoke memories, and even bring people together. As they finished their drinks, the sun began to set, painting the sky in hues of orange and pink. The city transformed under the twilight glow, and the sounds of laughter and music beckoned them back outside. Arriving at the park, they were greeted by the electrifying atmosphere of a vibrant concert. A stage had been set up, and the crowd swayed to the pulsating beats of the band that was already playing. Zoria felt the rhythm resonate through her body, igniting a spark of excitement. "This is incredible," she exclaimed, her eyes wide as she took in the scene. The crowd danced, their movements fluid and expressive, celebrating life through music. Zoria found herself drawn into the energy of it all, her initial reservations fading away. As they settled on a patch of grass near the front, Jake leaned closer. "This is what it means to be alive, to feel the music and connect with each other in this moment." Zoria watched, captivated by the diverse expressions of joy around her. The music swelled, and she felt an urge to move, to join the thrumming heartbeat of the crowd. With a grin, she stood, and before she knew it, she was dancing alongside the humans, laughter spilling from her lips. Jake and Sarah joined her, and together they formed a small circle, moving to the infectious rhythm. Zoria's laughter rang out, a melodic sound that mixed with the music and the cheers of the crowd. In that moment, she felt liberated, embraced by a sense of belonging she had never experienced before. The night unfolded with vibrant energy, each song igniting a new wave of enthusiasm. Zoria lost herself in the music, allowing it to wash over her like a tidal wave, each note resonating within her spirit. She looked at Jake and Sarah, their faces alight with joy, and realized this was more than just a concert. It was a celebration of unity and the promise of a new friendship. As the final song played, the crowd erupted into applause, and Zoria felt a rush of gratitude. "Thank you for sharing this with me," she said breathlessly, her heart swelling with emotion. "Tonight has changed me in ways I cannot fully articulate." Jake smiled, his expression warm and sincere. "We're just getting started. There's so much more to share." And with those words, Zoria realized they had only scratched the surface of what was possible. Together, they were weaving a tapestry of experiences that would intertwine their destinies in ways none of them could have foreseen. The road ahead was filled with potential, each adventure an opportunity to learn, grow, and celebrate their differences. As they walked home under a sky illuminated by stars, Zoria felt an overwhelming sense of hope. Maybe, just maybe, this alliance would blossom into something greater than she had imagined. A bridge between two worlds, united in the spirit of exploration and creativity. With laughter echoing through the night, they embraced the journey ahead, ready to discover the endless possibilities that awaited them. It was a night to remember, the beginning of a partnership that would redefine their understanding of each other and the universe they inhabited. Trials and triumphs. The dawn broke over New Haven, painting the city in soft hues of pink and gold. Zoria awoke in her modest hotel room, the remnants of the previous night's concert still fresh in her mind. The joy and laughter she had shared with Jake and Sarah echoed in her heart, reminding her of the powerful connection they had forged. Today, she felt a new purpose, a determination to strengthen the alliance between her people and Earth. After a quick breakfast, Zoria met Jake and Sarah outside the hotel. "Good morning, Commander." Jake greeted her with a broad smile. "Ready for another adventure?" "Indeed," Zoria replied, her spirit lifted by the warmth of their camaraderie. "What do you have in store for me today?" Sarah stepped forward, excitement shining in her eyes. "How about we dive into some local history? Understanding the past will give you insight into the heart of this city and its people." "That sounds perfect," Zoria responded, intrigued. "History shapes a civilization. It is important to learn from it, whether it be triumphs or failures. They made their way to the New Haven Historical Museum, an impressive structure that showcased a city's rich heritage. As they entered, the cool air contrasted with the warm sunlight outside, and Zoria was immediately struck by the exhibits lining the walls. Artifacts, photographs, and stories narrated the evolution of human civilization, revealing the trials and tribulations that had shaped their society. "Here," Jake said, leading them to a display featuring artifacts from the city's founding. This area was established in the early 1600s, and it's incredible to see how far they've come. Zarya examined the old documents and tools, her mind racing with the implications of humanity's history. "You have faced many challenges, wars, revolutions, social changes, yet you endure. What fuels your resilience?" "It's in our nature," Sarah replied, her voice thoughtful. "We adapt and evolve. Every challenge is an opportunity for growth. We learn from our mistakes and try to build a better future." Zarya nodded, feeling a sense of kinship with their struggles. On Vespera, her people had faced their own challenges, often through conflict and strife. They had learned to fight, to survive, but now she saw a different path. Perhaps it was not just about survival, it was about cooperation and growth. As they moved through the museum, they came across a section dedicated to social movements and human rights. Photographs depicted protests, rallies, and the passionate voices of those who fought for equality and justice. Zuria's heart ached at the sight of the struggles depicted, yet she was inspired by the courage of those who stood up for what they believed in. "Why do you fight for justice?" Zoria asked, captivated by a photograph of a determined woman holding a sign that read "Equality for All." "It's about creating a world where everyone has a voice," Jake explained. "Every person deserves dignity and respect, regardless of their background. We strive for a society where everyone can thrive." Zoria pondered this deeply, her mind racing. On Vespera, our history is often one of conquest and domination. I see now that perhaps there is strength in collaboration, in lifting each other up rather than tearing one another down. Inspired by the exhibits, Zoria felt a growing sense of urgency to share her own history, to reveal the struggles and triumphs of her people. "I wish to tell you about Vespera," she said, her voice steady. "Our history is complex, filled with conflict, but also with a desire for unity and strength." As they found a quiet corner of the museum, Zoria shared the story of her people, how Vespera was once a united planet, thriving in harmony until a great war tore them apart. Factions emerged, each vying for power, and what had once been a harmonious society was fractured by distrust and violence. "Over generations, we learned to fight rather than to communicate," Zoria explained, her golden eyes reflecting the weight of her words. "Our warriors were revered, but at what cost? We lost the essence of who we are, and in our pursuit of power, we forgot the value of compassion and understanding." Jake and Sarah listened intently, their expressions somber. "It sounds like you've been through a lot," Sarah said softly. "But recognizing that is the first step toward change." Zoria felt a flicker of hope ignite within her. "I see that now. If we can learn from each other, perhaps we can forge a new path, one that honors our histories while building a future based on cooperation." With renewed vigor, they left the museum, ready to explore more of New Haven. The streets were bustling with life, and Zoria felt invigorated by the energy of the city. "What shall we do next?" she asked, eager for the next adventure. "Let's visit a local community center," Jake suggested. "It's a hub for cultural exchange, and you can see firsthand how different backgrounds come together." Zoria nodded enthusiastically. As they arrived at the community center, they were greeted by a vibrant atmosphere filled with laughter, music, and the aroma of delicious food. Various groups were gathered, celebrating their heritage through dance, art, and food. "Welcome," a friendly voice called out as they entered. A woman with bright, welcoming eyes approached them. "I'm Maria, and this is our Center for Cultural Exchange. We celebrate diversity here." "Thank you for having us," Zoria said, her heart swelling with excitement. "We are eager to learn." Maria beamed, leading them through the bustling space. "We host workshops and events where people can share their traditions, cuisines, and stories. It's all about building connections." Zarya was captivated as she observed a group of children practicing traditional dances from various cultures. The energy was infectious, and she couldn't help but smile. "This is wonderful," she exclaimed, "a celebration of unity in diversity." Jake and Sarah led her to different booths showcasing art, food, and crafts. Zarya was particularly drawn to a table where a group was painting intricate designs. "What are you creating?" she asked, her eyes wide with curiosity. One of the artists smiled warmly. "These are traditional patterns that represent our heritage. Each design tells a story." Zarya watched in awe as the artist explained the meanings behind each pattern, drawing parallels to her own people's customs. "It's fascinating," she said. "We too have stories embedded in our art. It is our way of connecting with our ancestors." As the day unfolded, Zarya engaged with individuals from various backgrounds, listening to their stories and learning about their cultures. She participated in a cooking class where she discovered the complexities of preparing a traditional dish from a distant land, the flavors and techniques both foreign and familiar. In one workshop, a group of women demonstrated traditional dances, inviting Zarya to join them. She hesitated for a moment, but the laughter and encouragement of the group pulled her in. With each movement, she felt herself becoming part of a greater tapestry, a blend of stories, struggles, and triumphs interwoven with joy and resilience. As evening approached, the center hosted a potluck dinner where everyone contributed a dish from their heritage. Zarya was amazed at the variety of flavors and aromas that filled the room. She sat with Jake, Sarah, and new friends, sharing stories over plates overflowing with delicious food. "This is the essence of humanity," Zarya said, her heart full as she took in the laughter and camaraderie surrounding her. "Your ability to celebrate differences is remarkable." Jake nodded, his eyes twinkling. "And we learn so much from each other. Each dish has a history, a meaning, and sharing it fosters connection." As they feasted, Zarya shared stories of Vespera's traditions and customs, her heart swelling with pride as she spoke of her people's resilience and spirit. "We may have faced darkness, but we have also known light. It is in that light that we find our path forward." The room erupted into applause as Zarya concluded her story, and she felt a warmth envelop her, a sense of belonging that she had never anticipated. In this community center, surrounded by diverse voices, she realized they were all united by the same desire for understanding and connection. As the evening wore on, Zarya felt a shift within herself. The fear and uncertainty that had accompanied her arrival on Earth were gradually replaced with hope and determination. Perhaps their alliance could grow into something more, a partnership that not only benefited their peoples, but also inspired others to seek understanding and cooperation. Before they parted ways, Maria approached Zarya, a thoughtful expression on her face. "You have a powerful voice, Zarya. Share your story, not just with us, but with the world. It can inspire others to embrace unity over division." Zarya nodded, feeling a newfound sense of purpose. "I will. This is just the beginning. Together, we will show that cooperation is the path to a brighter future." As they left the community center, the stars began to twinkle in the night sky, a reminder of the endless possibilities that lay ahead. Zarya, Jake, and Sarah walked side by side, ready to face the challenges and triumphs that awaited them on this journey of discovery and growth. In the heart of New Haven, they had forged a bond that transcended their differences, united by a shared vision of a better tomorrow. Together, they would continue to explore, learn, and celebrate the beauty of their cultures, paving the way for an alliance that could change the fate of both their worlds. Seeds of change. The air was thick with anticipation as Zarya, Jake, and Sarah gathered at the community center the following week for a special event, a cultural showcase designed to bring together various local groups and celebrate the diversity of New Haven. Zoria was determined to highlight not only Earth's rich tapestry of cultures, but also the legacy of her own people, fostering a deeper understanding and connection between their worlds. As Zoria prepared for the event, her heart raced with excitement. She was eager to share the stories of Vespera, to illustrate the challenges her people had faced, and to showcase their artistry and resilience. The past week had ignited a fire within her, a desire to bridge the gap between their worlds through collaboration and shared experiences. "Are you ready for this?" Jake asked, adjusting the banner they had designed together, which read "Celebrating Unity in Diversity." "I am," Zoria replied, her voice steady, though she felt a flutter of nerves. "But I want to ensure that my people's story is presented with the respect it deserves. It is essential that we honor our histories as we forge a new path together." Sarah smiled, placing a reassuring hand on Zoria's shoulder. "Your story matters. This event is a chance for everyone to learn from each other. We're all in this together." With the final preparations complete, the community center began to fill with people eager to participate. Tables adorned with vibrant decorations showcased traditional foods, art, and crafts from various cultures. The atmosphere buzzed with energy as laughter and conversations intertwined, creating a symphony of voices that reflected the diverse community. As the event commenced, Zoria stood at the front of the room, her heart pounding in her chest. "Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us today," she began, her voice resonating with warmth. "Today we celebrate not only the unique cultures represented here, but also the strength found in unity and understanding. I am honored to share with you the story of my people, the Vesperans." A hush fell over the crowd, and Zoria felt the weight of their attention. Vespera is a planet rich in beauty and diversity, much like Earth. However, our history is marred by conflict and division. We have fought battles for power, often forgetting the importance of compassion and collaboration. She took a deep breath, gathering her thoughts. "For generations, our warriors have been revered for their strength, but we have learned that true strength lies not in conquest, but in cooperation. In our quest for dominance, we lost sight of our true purpose: to connect, to share, and to grow together." As Zoria spoke, she saw the audience's faces shift from curiosity to understanding. She shared tales of the Great War that had divided her people, detailing how mistrust and fear had bred a cycle of violence. "But we have begun to recognize the importance of healing and rebuilding. We are learning to listen and to appreciate the value of our differences." With each word, Zoria wove a narrative of resilience and hope. She described the arts of Vespera, the intricate tapestries that told stories of triumph, the haunting melodies that echoed the struggles of her people, and the dances that celebrated their connection to the universe. "Art has always been a vital part of our culture," Zoria explained. "It is through art that we communicate our dreams, our sorrows, and our victories. I believe that art has the power to heal, to inspire, and to unite us." Jake watched as Zoria captured the audience's attention, their faces reflecting a mixture of empathy and admiration. He could see how her words resonated deeply, bridging the gap between their worlds. "Your story is powerful," he whispered to Sarah, pride swelling in his chest. As Zoria concluded her presentation, she invited a group of Vesperan artists to join her on stage. "Now, I would like to share our art with you. We have created a piece that embodies our journey, our struggles, and our aspirations for a brighter future." The artist stepped forward, carrying a large tapestry that unfurled gracefully, revealing intricate patterns woven in vibrant colors. The tapestry depicted scenes of unity, strength, and resilience. Warriors standing together, hands joined in solidarity, surrounded by symbols of nature that represented the harmony they sought to restore. As the audience marveled at the artwork, Zoria felt a wave of gratitude wash over her. This tapestry is not just a representation of Vespera. It is a symbol of our commitment to collaboration and understanding. It serves as a reminder that we are all connected, no matter where we come from. The applause that followed was thunderous, filling the room with a sense of shared purpose. Zarya beamed, her heart swelling with pride and hope. This was more than just an event. It was the beginning of a new chapter for both their worlds. After the presentation, the crowd mingled, eager to explore the various booths showcasing cultural artifacts and culinary delights. The atmosphere was alive with curiosity and connection as people shared stories, tasted different foods, and celebrated their unique heritages. Jake and Sarah moved through the crowd, engaging with attendees and sharing their own stories. They spoke of the importance of understanding one another, emphasizing the value of empathy and collaboration in overcoming challenges. Zarya watched with admiration, feeling a sense of belonging among her newfound friends. As the day unfolded, various groups took turns showcasing their traditions through dance and music. Zarya joined in, participating in a lively dance from a local community, her movements fluid and expressive. The laughter that filled the air was contagious, and she felt herself becoming part of something larger than herself, a celebration of humanity's resilience and diversity. Later in the afternoon, Zarya took a moment to reflect on the significance of the event. She felt a deep sense of fulfillment, knowing that they were sowing the seeds of change. This is only a beginning, she thought, her heart brimming with hope. As the sun began to set, casting a golden glow over the community center, Zarya, Jake, and Sarah gathered on the stage once more. "Thank you all for being a part of this day," Zarya addressed the crowd. "Together, we have taken a significant step toward building a brighter future, a future rooted in understanding, compassion, and cooperation." The crowd erupted into applause, their enthusiasm palpable. Zarya smiled, feeling a warmth spread through her chest. "Let us continue to share our stories, our cultures, and our dreams. Together, we can create a world where differences are celebrated and unity is our guiding principle." As the event came to a close, attendees lingered, reluctant to leave the newfound connections they had forged. Conversations flowed freely, laughter echoed, and a sense of community enveloped them. Zarya marveled at how a simple cultural showcase had blossomed into something profound, an opportunity for growth and understanding that transcended the boundaries of their worlds. In that moment, Zarya knew that the alliance they were building was not merely about diplomacy. It was about humanity's inherent desire to connect, to share, and to grow together. As she looked around at the smiling faces, she felt a renewed sense of purpose, a commitment to nurture this partnership, to inspire others to embrace cooperation over conflict. As the last remnants of sunlight dipped below the horizon, Zarya, Jake, and Sarah stood together, gazing at the vibrant tapestry they had created, not just in art but in spirit. They had begun to weave a story of unity that would resonate through the ages, a legacy of hope that would inspire generations to come. With hearts full of promise, they walked away from the community center, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. Together, they would continue to explore, to learn, and to build a future where differences were not obstacles, but stepping stones toward a brighter tomorrow. The journey was just beginning, and they were excited to see where it would lead.